So the idea of empathy and the label of being an empath to me comes down to understanding how your mind and your body work together. The nature of the way that our body is that it's receiving all of these signals. Light comes through my eyes, the temperature comes through my skin, the wind that I could feel on my skin, the actual field of it feeling safe in here I can pick up through just the frequencies in the area, the land. All of these things give off frequencies. Electromagnetic fields, the earth itself, my body also has a field it gives off, and it also receives, and so I'm able to have this perception. And so the idea of empathy is in between people, that we have this ability to feel what other people are feeling. And so that becomes a deeper practice in understanding yourself. I love what Penny Pierce says. She talks about it as your home frequency. And it's not just a feeling in your body, but it's with your mind and the way that you visualize those things just as well. Just like if you feel hungry in your gut, it sends a neurochemical signal up to your brain. And your brain says, I'm hungry. I want bacon. I want a cupcake. I want a smoothie, whatever. I want broccoli, whatever. All of those things are the associations to the frequency. That's the thing, is that it's not a fixed thing of like, did I get it or did I not get it? It's an ability that you can practice. You can upregulate the expression of your genetics in your body. There's all sorts of things you can look up with in that space. And that itself is a symphony that's very complex. Same thing with your mind. All of the meaning-making structures that you've created through all of the things that you've been telling yourself since you were born. This is all a practice. Several modalities, several frameworks have a tendency to look at it as something that is exterior, some situation that I don't want, and I want to create what I do want. And in this practice, I think that there's a pretty fundamental nature of just coming into a neutral space to be an observer. And so in this practice, I think that there's a fundamental nature of looking at the duality of the things that I want and that I don't want. Carl Jung called it your gold and your shadow. That the treasure you seek is in the cave you fear to enter, is the way Joseph Campbell put it in summarizing Carl Jung's work. Either way, the frameworks that we have been putting in have their own charges. Like if I say I'm on a hero's journey, well, that hero puts me in an archetypal perception of looking for some sort of victim to save or criminal to stop. There is an innate resistance to becoming a hero. This is why the Buddhist and Eastern philosophies have a tendency towards non-attachment, non-aversion, being neutral in all things. But this is where the practice comes in, because if you become completely neutral, then you become sort of disconnected from the human experience. You see, because I think this practice that we have gives us opportunities for intuitive practices, for energy work, for all sorts of abilities that could be expressed outside of the typical societal understanding. I think that a lot of these things are mystic practices that have been sidelined. All sorts of things that we could go into that. Either way, it's still a practice that we know that your gut has its own brain, the gut brain, and there's a nervous system, the vagal nerve, the vagus nerve, that runs through your body, and your brain and your gut, your whole body are sending signals back and forth. Porges's polyvagal theory, if you're interested in finding out more about that. And what Bruce Lipton discovered through stem cell research with this body is that my brain and my thinking sends electromagnetic currents down into my body, and then my body creates the chemicals in alignment with that thinking. It's not as direct as you would think, and then the thing happens. It's the nature of the thinking. It's the frequency of the thinking that the body is creating. So it's all one, the thinking and the neurochemicals and the electromagnetic signals that go back and forth. It's all one it's one experience in all of the different ways that mind and body orient to this back and forth flow. That back and forth flow is a practice that you can do. And there's some really cool things that you can start digging into and experiencing in here, and then start showing up out here with more authenticity, with more consistency, with more integrity. There's so many benefits from a character standpoint. Fear subsides, and there's these yields of the shadow is the better fruit from the tree, right? The creation, the manifestation of light and healing and all of these wonderful mystical experiences are the light side of things. And so the idea is to be in balance with both things. Everything that is holy, and then we engage with these energetics through practice of being here first, in showing up authentically, in creating what we intend in the world. And so I'm excited to be able to practice and share and teach and be together in more of these sorts of experiences.